first of all, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm really good. It's a really shitty weather outside, so I'm really happy to be inside talking to you.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I mean, like I said, I'm in Finland, and yeah,
Yeah.
the weather is probably similar.
Yeah. Do you have
Very
rain as
shitty.
well? It's like we got 3 degrees and rain, like
Yeah,
horrible.
something like that. Yeah, and all the snow and turning into sludge and yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Um, well, my question, how you are, is in a way was a bit redundant because last year has been like pretty amazing for you guys in a way. Very busy.
Yeah, yeah. It was.
um
We didn't expect it. I mean, coming out of the pandemic,
mhm,
we started writing a little bit for Foregone, basically because we'd been away for such a long time that we weren't anywhere done with the touring for I the Mass, because we
mhm,
released it and started touring and then the pandemic hit, right? So everything got put on pause for a while, which it was for everybody. I didn't think that way in the beginning because I felt really sorry for myself and useless, like I think a lot of colleagues and people did in general. But
mhm,
then it starts sinking in that this is everyone, right? It's so I'm not unique in any way. This is just for everyone. So it was just settling into that and not very inspiring. But then we could see some tours happening, and there was a festival, I think, in New Zealand, and there was some tours in the US, and that gave me the motivation to even start thinking about writing. And I think it was Andrew's idea that he said, let's just go over to the US to hang out with the guys. We haven't seen each other in a couple of years, and let's go over to LA. We both love being there, and it's easy. We rent a house and build a little studio there, and just hang out and see what happens. And we did, and it was fantastic. We created some of the embryos for the album, and since we were still, now we could see that there were tours happening. We were going to continue touring on I the Mass. We weren't in a hurry, so it was a really nice, super relaxed vibe. We decided to come back after the holidays, so early January to 22, and continued writing and started recording. And all of a sudden, we had an album, and
yeah.
we still were touring on the previous album, so we could go straight from the recording into back to touring, and we really missed that for such a long time. So that was extremely important, and part of the whole vibe was a good one, because it felt like everything was coming back to normal again.
Mhm,
In a way, it's been different, and it probably always will, but
yeah.
it's as close to normal as we can get, I think. Um, and that was just awesome, and that turned into like 120 shows plus the record. So it was a very, very busy year. We didn't expect it at all.
Yeah. um there's probably many highlights, but I'm just wondering if there's like any that springs to mind, like when I'm asking this now.
Oh, of the year.
Mm,
Well, it's really, really hard to not mention the European run that we did. Now,
mhm,
all those shows were incredible. It felt like it's always. I love being on stage. I love playing with these
yeah.
guys, and it's like, and it always, we sound good in my ears. It's like we all make mistakes, but it's like it's okay because everybody sounds so nice. Sound good.
Mm,
But now there was this extra dimension. Felt like some people felt like they saw us for the first time, or it was just like a connection there, and it was almost on all the shows on the European run. And we've
mhm,
done some festivals, we've done shows and everything before, but it just felt like a reignited um, mutual love in a way, and it just sparked the shows, and put them on another level. And the absolute highlight was for me, the Gothenburg show, the
mhm,
very last show. They were all incredible.
mhm.
It's just, you put me on the spot, right? You told me to give you a highlight, but
Yeah.
it was literally having a packed Scandinavian, which is the venue where I've been going
Mhm,
to see all the bands, you know, like the international bands coming through, and it's just an incredible venue for that. It sounds like shit most of the time, but it's where you get to see the shows, and to be there, and it's packed, and it's all that feeling. It's just incredible. It's really, it's hard to top it, but it's definitely impossible to describe it if you weren't there, you know.
Yeah. Well, going on the show that I was at in Helsinki, like the feeling that I had there was really, I don't know, was something special. It was one of the better shows I've seen of you guys, but of like the whole year overall. Like I was at some point standing like in the like on the sides and in like higher up, and just seeing that mass of people like moving, like I don't know, it was like beating heart or ocean or
one entity. Yeah, it's incredible seeing that. So it was the whole tour, as I said, was incredible, and it felt like everybody wanted it as much. You know, we really wanted to play, and the audience really wanted us to play. They really wanted to see shows. So it was all that. It was a really, really cool connection there. It was through the whole tour. Incredible.
Yeah, and I heard you say like this was actually the first time ever that you got to tour with At the Gates.
Yeah.
Even though they're quite old friends.
Yeah, we've known
how
each
was
other
that?
forever. Like, well, obviously their break for, I don't know, 14 years or whatever it was. That obviously is part of it, because I mean, when they stopped playing, we were just about getting ready to tour even more. So and we've done most of our touring since they quit, and then came back together again. So it's probably natural that it turned out that way. It's just interesting. We could have toured in the beginning, for instance, or we could have toured when they joined up again. But we managed to play like a festival or so together. But that's it, you know. And now we had the opportunity for a full tour to tour together, and that was incredible. And the people you have on your T-shirt, Orbit Culture, was there, and Imminence as well. So it was an all Swedish package taken all over Europe. It was it's very cool. You have newer, younger bands like Orbit Culture, Imminence, and you have the old foxes, you know, the old guys, At the Gates and us, you know. So it was cool to present a little bit of everything on that tour. And I think it was a really, I mean, diverse as we might be, some of us, there's still a good red thread throughout the show. You know, I think that it encompasses a lot of different genres, but at the same time, it's all metal, you know. So, and I think people really enjoyed that. So, and I know I did.
Well, I did too.
Yeah.
Now, well, we're mostly here to talk about your album that's coming in like a good 2 weeks now. I don't know, people have been probably asking you about it a lot, or mentioning it a lot, the fact that people are saying that like In Flames is back, or like that they're sounding, you're sounding back to what you were like a while ago. I know that from your side, that's just a matter of like, I don't know, perspective of, or how people feel about it. Like I've seen a couple of interviews that you did already. I don't know, personally, like I also have like a similar excitement about the album now, like I had when I kind of discovered you guys with the Come Clarity album. I sort of hear a lot back, like a lot of Come Clarity sound in well,
it's interesting you mentioned, sorry to cut you off,
no problem.
but it's really interesting when you say that because I've heard everybody's reference is different. That's the funny thing. You compare it, like what it brings you back to is Come Clarity. Other people I talk to say there's some Clayman stuff in there, or there's some Horacle stuff in there. And it's the only answer I have is what I've said numerous times, is that we always bring our past with us. We've always done that, and that includes the later records too. It's just a matter of how prominent they are, or the way the production of the record is, how obvious it is. But another fact is that screaming is something that we've done throughout each and every record. There might be more of it in some songs than it has been in the past or in the last couple of records, but there's nothing new, you know. And the same thing with fast kicks or fast songs or the riffing or the acoustic guitars. All these things have been there all the time.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of packaging, and that's something that we talked about when we did the record. Obviously, how do we want to present it? I think Either Mask was leaning towards rock. I love it because of the guitar sound. It's really clear. You can hear the pick on the string, kind of, which is awesome for a guitar player, you know. But it is leaning a little bit towards the rock sound. Still massive and big, but we wanted to lean more towards metal or death metal this time around, with more of a guitar wall, a little bit less definition, obviously, but more power. And definitely the kick and snare, like basically the drumming, having the people in the band that we do have, like Tanner and Bryce, who were actually playing on the record, all the rhythm parts. I mean, you definitely want to showcase them because they're really, really good at what they do, right? And so it's they just did their thing, and together with the idea of the production, it turned into this sounding record.
Yeah,
you know.
well, that's exactly what like I have been saying to a bunch of people or all the time, that like for this album to sound for a lot of people to like more old school In Flames, and from my perspective, it's mostly like because of the production this time on the album, because your songs have always been In Flame songs. They've always been those big songs, and when you hear those songs that were on the albums that had maybe a little bit more poppy production, when you hear them live, you don't hear the difference between this.
Exactly. And that's the thing. That's why I think a good idea is always to go see a band live. That's how I make up my mind if I like a band or not, because production on a record doesn't really tell you anything. I mean, obviously the songs are good no matter what, but seeing it live, if it's performed in I think it's very important, because then you kind of redress everything in the same sound in a way, and you go get to the essence of the songs, and that's why they work together live good, you know.
I remember like seeing a lot of my friends like saying that like that they didn't care much for like the newer In Flame stuff, but live they're always good, even though those new songs were still there.
That's, I mean, I'm just glad people care. You know, there's so much music out there, there's so many bands out there, and just people having an opinion means that we've done something either to annoy or make them happy, you know. And people care, which is important. And then when they say that they don't like maybe the newer records, but they go to the shows because they like how they sound live, that's perfect. Then they're using music for the right reasons. You're listening to what you think is good. If you don't like it, you listen to something else. You like the live version of it, then you go fucking support your bands. I think it's awesome. That's just the way it should be.
Yeah, for sure. Now for this album, it's already the 14th album. The whole writing process and such is probably kind of like routine in a way for you guys. Like you've been doing the similar things, sort of.
I kind of, obviously over the years, you want to improve on things. Like you want to make the stuff that worked, you want to continue doing that, and the stuff that didn't work so good, you want to improve on that or change that. And so eventually, after having done anything from recorded, like in Studio Fredman, which was a fucking hammered recordings, incredible amounts of alcohol was consumed, and it was done in a very short amount of time, but it was basically working around the clock. We've done that. Then we went and became more professional and worked like between 10 and 6 or whatever, and so we've tried that. And then we've done music or recordings where we've done the drums in one studio, vocals in one, and guitar space in another, and then mixed it in a fucking fifth place. you know, we've done that too. And then we recorded overseas, and we recorded all over the place. We built our own studio. So we tried all of it. And eventually we have come to the conclusion that this way we're working right now, with me and Anders going somewhere nice, and it's been LA because we have friends there. The weather is always nice, and we're far enough from anything to really be disturbed by it. You know, it's just us and the music, right? Creating the music, and that's something that it took a while to figure out, that it works best for us. I don't write anything on the road, like when we're touring. It's either or. Because I think they both need 100% focus from me. I can't do half and half. So, and it's just like a switch. So we decide to write, and then we go there, and it's already like, since we've done it now 3-4 times, and it's just kind of a natural process. So I kind of like the routine. So it's not routine in a negative way. What comes next is like the creative process, and that's something that's really, really hard to explain, because it can be anything. It could be a few words written down, or it could be a melody that just is in your head. You have no clue where it comes from, or parts of a melody. And then it's just, when it stays there for a day or two, then you know it's worth. So it just comes from anywhere. I can't really explain that. And I guess most people have it. Just, I think everybody has it. Just the means of getting it down on paper, or it's not always there. So it's a matter of opportunity, I think, a lot of times. But anyway, so I've created a good setup for that, for me to catching those ideas. But after that creative process, then it's more of a craft. After that, you want to arrange the song in a certain way. You have to think about all the live shows that we've done, what works, what doesn't work, and what you tried in the past. And so that's more of a craft. And it's not as fun, but it's awesome when you feel like you really did something smart, and you put it in a way that it just flows, you know, naturally. And so it's not as fun doing that, but it's extremely important. And that's something you get better at. At least the more you do it, I think you get better at it. So it's those different things. And then obviously we learn from that too, you know, all the live shows. So it's those parts are never routine. It's just I need the setup to be routine, so I don't need to worry about anything else. I don't need to be distracted, or, you know, so we can just focus on this. So,
well, whatever you're doing, it seems to me that it's working.
Yeah, I've never had writer's block because of learning from the past. And also another thing that I didn't bring up, but we're first and foremost making this music for us, you know. So and it just gives us freedom. I can do whatever I feel like and present it to Anders. If he's up for the idea, then we're good to go. Then nobody can change that, you know. And it's kind of important. 1 second. There we go. Can't remember where I was going with that. Anyway, so it's yeah, it's a total freedom. We can do whatever, you know. As soon as we two agree on it, it's, you know, we know it's going to be good enough for us, and we're the ones that are going to play it thousands of times. But having that freedom to do what we want has helped in never having writer's block, really. It's either touring or writing, and when we're writing, we're creative, we're inspired, and it's like, it just works out really well for us that way.
Quickly still, before we run out of time, and a couple of you're kind of a self-pronounced geek or nerd. I've seen your video you did with I forgot the outlet, but that you visited a comic book store.
Oh yeah, I was
in New York.
Yeah, Forbidden Planet.
Well, in a couple of months, you're having your own comic book being released.
Yeah, it's the second one.
Or
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's like pretty exciting for like someone that is into comics.
Yeah, I think it just fits so well. I remember when I was a kid looking at all those big covers, like the Dio covers and the rainbow covers, especially the Dio covers and the Maiden covers. I was looking at those, and it took me away, listening to the music and looking at those covers. It was like something, the art and the music 1 and 1 equaled 3, you know,
Mhm.
or like a 360 experience. So it's always been connected. Art's always been, especially that kind of either realistic or sci-fi or fantasy kind of art, has always been extremely inspiring to me. And it's always something I've been fascinated with, always loved, like role-playing games, the fantasy world, all the computer games, board games, and all that shit. So it's filled with art, and having this universe that we are in with our lyrics and our topics and everything and the characters and everything put to life in printed media or online, but in a 2D 3D kind
Mhm.
of environment is just incredible, being part of that and having the music as a soundtrack, and having someone like Blake Armstrong, who is the engine behind all of this, because it was his idea from the beginning to make a comic. And that's when we did the Jester's Curse, the first one. He had a script written, and he introduced these characters, and together with Anders created this universe. And it's incredible when you think about it. It
Mhm.
started out being riffs in a basement, and it just turned into something like that. It's incredible. So I'm extremely proud of that, and really excited about the journey it's been it's taken on its own, you know. And it's I'm looking forward to way more of that.
Yeah, well, me too. I love it when I can combine
Yeah,
uh my love for music and love for comics and such.
yeah. Wow,
It's
yeah,
always great.
yeah. It's I just think it adds to everything. I mean, yeah, and vice versa. Obviously, with art, and you hear the right music to it, you it just get sucked into it, you know.
Yeah,
So it's awesome. It works really well.
yeah, for sure. All right, I think we're about done with our time.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Anything you would like to say still to wrap this up?
Uh, yeah, thanks for having me. Obviously, it was, yeah, the Helsinki show was crazy. These Scandinavian shows that we did were awesome, I have to say,
Mm,
and it was done in the right order. I think
yeah.
did Oslo first, actually Copenhagen in a smaller club,
Mm,
and then Oslo was quite big, and then going to Helsinki, it was really big, and it
mhm.
was, yeah. Finland has always been amazing to us. We love playing Finland. It's, I don't know what it is. You have so many bands, and we have so many friends there. I think the general love for metal is widespread in Finland, way more than in any other country I know.
Oh,
So it's like a second home. So yeah, I'd like to say that.
all right. Well, lots of luck with your album,
Thank you
and
very much. Thank you.
hope to see you on a stage nearby.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Hopefully soon again.
yeah. Sooner than you. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right then. Thank
have a
you very
good day.
much. You
Bye.
too. Awesome shirt, by the way. I have to say, love that band.
Yeah. Yeah, I discovered them as probably many people over the pandemic,
Yeah,
and well, I think they're pretty amazing.
yeah, they're incredible, super cool guys.
Mm,
They're really fun and good at what they do, and it's always a great live show. So yeah, for sure, for sure.
yeah, I shortly talked with them. Like I came to the In Flames tour in stop in Helsinki, and I had a short talk with them,
Yeah.
and they were also like um, still trying to process the fact that they were touring with you guys, and that they could actually talk with you guys and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, they're super nice guys. I wish them all the luck, because they're
Mm.
working really, really hard. They're doing great tours. They sound good, so they deserve all good things.